What's the biggest thing for you that tells you just how f***ed up society is? One time I had a lady yell at me to move my ambulance while I did CPR on her teenage neighbor. I've always felt it was so odd that ambulance drivers EMT get abused so often. Surely they are some of the best people in society? I'd certainly be happy to see them in an emergency, and yet there seem to be constant stories about them being attacked or berated for just trying to do their jobs. CPS failing so many kids here where I live. One lived in a meth lab that blew up and CPS was called many times before Reddit won't forget the day they took their scorched bodies out of the lab. Horrible sight burnt into my mind. Rich people doing terrible things and just kinda paying their way to avoid the justice. Oh yeah, I knew this before going to law school, but now that I'm understanding the criminal justice system better, it's beyond fucked up. Sell a gram of weed and can't afford a good lawyer? Plead out and be a felon for the rest of your life or risk going to prison. Possibly for many years. Embezzle millions from thousands of innocent, hard-working people? Luckily you can afford a fancy hotshot lawyer. Maybe one who is cozy with your judge and will get you off on probation. Nothing just about it. We're living through an empathy crisis. People are so disconnected from others that they're incapable of compassion. Kind people are seen as fools. People trying to make the world better are treated as pie-in-the-sky dreamers, or simply dangerous. And those who call out injustice and cruelty are snowflakes. Even wokeness can be performative, with people just throwing words they saw online around to one-up someone else. Eater, wow. Thank you for the awards and the insightful responses to this comment. Clearly there are more thoughtful people out there than one might believe. Compassion fatigue. Thanks to 24-hour news and constant scrolling on social media, we're aware of everything terrible in the world and we watch it live streamed as it's developing. There's no escape. Twitter and Facebook algorithms pop it up at the top of our feeds. Reddit's front page is saturated by it. News apps pop up headlines on our phones like texts. And the whole time, there's a very vocal group of people out there who insist that to not know about something means you're terrible. Privileged person who doesn't give a shit about the world. And who shame you for taking a break from it. Humans were never meant to be exposed to this much hostility and misery. We are psychologically incapable of caring about so much. Constantly. My ex and I witnessed a bad accident in front of us at an intersection. Truck ran a light and T-boned a car. Without thinking, I jumped from the car and ran over to help free the older couple in the car. I was struggling to get the door open as I tried to reassure them that everything was going to be fine. I looked up and saw people standing on the sidewalk, filming us. Nobody bothered to come help me until I pointed at a man and told him to go to get those likes, I guess. Good on you, Mr. Dick Chodeballs. People can't follow the simple don't be a dick rule. In many cases people are actively rewarded for being a dick. Screaming at people who work in retail, and spitting and attacking them. I've started to be excessively polite and nice to wait staff, servers, etc. Unless they initiate rudeness, then I call them out. How easily the media can distract everyone from real and disturbing news that's happening and nobody cares or can see what's happening. The media being owned by billionaires who want everyone distracted from the real issues. We legalized weed, made a bunch of tax revenue, made a bunch of people a lot of money, but didn't commute sentences for cannabis-related crimes. People rotting in prison for a crime that's no longer a crime. During an official meeting in Karnataka, state in India, a MLA said when rape is inevitable, lie down and enjoy it. Reminds me of the story that was posted a little while ago. A serial rapist got let go again and even taunted the victims, saying he would rape them again. So his victims swarmed the courthouse and executed him after cutting off his junk. The guy had so many victims that they literally had the strength of numbers to overpower the police there. Half of the tips on our life pro tips. That mostly just reinforces to me how unbelievably dim most people are. Do they really think they're the first person to say HR isn't there to help you? I mean, there's like a 99% chance they read it on Reddit first anyway and then went over to be this week's poster of the same exact thing. That and the ones that are obnoxiously specific. If your cousin Brian comes over and starts to fight with your uncle about whose turn it is to use the fart pillow and you're sitting between them and then they tell you that you have to use it first, you can just lie and say you don't have to fart, even though you do. The amount of posts I see all over the place with how little jobs care for their employees, whether it them being underpaid, overworked, understaffed, or mistreated by their bosses or any combination of this. China hosting the Olympics while running concentration camps and harvesting organs and mass slave labor. Countries like Iran and Saudi heading committees on human rights and women's rights. Or Qatar hosting the World Cup while enslaving thousands to build the stadiums because they don't already have the infrastructure. Many times those workers are being killed because of unsafe work conditions. Consumer culture and countless ads everywhere. When you see those people fighting over a TV on Black Friday, you realize how fucked up we are. People are more interested in filming bad or serious stuff happening, rather than actually helping. Usually yelling someone help but not helping themselves. Raising awareness is the literal least you can do and still pretend for social media like you're doing something. Sex trafficking of children. And for different reasons. A close second are those images of Trash Island and that giant dessert heap of discount clothing. Police arresting people for giving food blankets to the homeless. Edit. Story. https://www. Martha Jones. Compolitics 2014-11. 90-year-old Florida veteran arrested feeding homeless band 2. Talking about it. And restaurants' refusal to give food that would otherwise be tossed to the homeless because they might get sued. Worked at a place like that once. Used to tell them it was scraps for my dog, which was fine by them, but always took it to one of the homeless camps in my city. Never got any complaints or sued. The rent is too damn high and someone needs to fix the damn roads. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. That I can talk about Digiano's pizza without ever typing it or purchasing one. And magically a Digiano ad will end up in my feed. Talk about double-ended marital aids and see how far this magic goes. Pop culture and how it negatively affects how people act and treat each other. A lot of serious issues have been brought up that I think are more serious. Just adding something new to the feed I feel is a major problem in society. People have become pukes because a lot of trends and celebrities promote shitty behavior. No one listens to learn anymore. They listen for an opportunity to correct the speaker, or for an opportunity to feel attacked. For me, as an American, it's the way Americans are allowing themselves to be brainwashed to believe anything these days. Absolutely anything. And not just believe it. Live it. Defend it. Fight for it. When 3/4 of the people you know have lost their capacity for critical thinking, the future feels pretty damn scary. Reality TV stars who continue to be relevant years after their show ended and they've done nothing else of value. In other words, shows like TMZ are to blame. The whole entertainment industry in general is fucking stupid. 90% of the famous people you see being talked about either barely created the content they are known for, most music artists, or are only famous because of their physical appearance and have literally no other redeeming qualities or skills that would make them useful to society otherwise. People paying $1,000 for some girl's farts. Wait, how do you get them for so cheap? For-profit private prisons. That rapists only go to jail for a few months and drug possession can get you 10 years. That honor killings are a thing. The fact that people don't care how their actions affect others. Second comment cause I change my mind. This is the root of pretty much all the others. And if they are confronted with how it affects others, they simply chalk it up to I'm just living my truth. Goddamn, I hate that fucking phrase. The existence of social media influencers. And even more horrifying, how effective they are at shifting pop culture. Rape of kids. Rape in general. I'm American and I know for people outside the US this is going to sound insane. But hearing about people calling an Uber instead of an ambulance because the ambulance is too expensive. How dismissed domestic violence is by courts worldwide. How little they understand the victims. How a judge can be allowed to make a call despite not even understanding some of the confusing behaviors of victims of DV. It causes the courts to re-victimize the survivor. It's tragic. Visited Washington, D.C. before the pandemic with my fiance. We were walking to the Capitol building for a tour and while waiting to cross the street, I see a man who clearly fell and could not get up across and down the street. I saw multiple people simply step over the man as he was gesturing for help. I went to help him up. Found out he couldn't speak English well, but was able to find out he lived only a couple blocks away. I convinced him to let me help him to his apartment where his wife was waiting for him. It was heartbreaking to see so many people simply step over someone that fell down and needed a simple hand up. All of the videos I've seen where someone is dying, like after an accident. And everyone's pulling out their phone or flat ignoring the person as they die. It's like that video where some girls try to rob a driver. Driver ends up getting killed and the girl's just like, where's my phone? Or some shit. As the guy's alone dying. As tech has increasingly become a part of our lives, we have this generation iPad growing up. Raised by an electronic device and free reign to the internet. We are more detached and our attitudes more divisive. God help us all. People being forced to ration insulin is a big one for me. Social media. Praising people with the help of fake internet points. Showing fake support by clicking a button. Condemning and destroying people's careers over fake rumors and witch hunts online. Take my fake internet point. How public health has become politicized. It'll cost me almost as much to have surgery to remove my miscarried child as it would to give birth. And I don't get to go home with a baby. Fuck American healthcare. For-profit healthcare. Celebrities preaching climate decline then hop on a private jet to travel. Stop the madness. When we had to start having active shooter drills in schools. Thinking money is worth more than our planet and its inhabitants. Child porn existing. Nothing to do with society. Just fucked up people in general. What gives me hope is that they're being actively cracked down. The oil, gas and coal industries get tax subsidies, but when actual taxpayers got the stimulus checks, tax subsidy, people screamed socialism. Trauma is so common that people cannot comprehend that someone can be nice, kind to them without either wanting something in return or being attracted to them. Fucking American healthcare. What a joke. Everyone arguing over the dumbest things and overreacting to things. People thinking of homeless people as less than human because they're down on their luck or cannot afford a big insulated box. Since other big ones have been covered already. That a shredded Banksy painting sold for $40 million and most Americans can't afford a doctor visit. Medicine for profit. That people feel the need to whip out a camera while offering help to someone in need. If I was homeless and someone offered me food while shoving a camera in my face, I'd tell them where to ram their charity. How we can't agree or disagree peacefully on anything. That I live in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest state in the wealthiest country at a time in history that will go known for its opulence. And I'm surrounded by homelessness and extreme income inequality. The political class in car promised that if we eliminated their competition, they'd solve our problems. We gave them 100% of the power. And they're just using it to enrich themselves, their allies. It's shocking. Astronaut on the moon with a gun meme. Price of cheese. We produce 1.5 times enough food to feed the world, but we don't because it's not profitable. The amount of plastic surgery young women are asking for has increased exponentially in the past 10 years alone. Korea is scary. All the famous young gals looks the same to me. How the I got mine so screw everyone else and I don't give a crap if people die or are hurt if I benefit or can comfortably ignore it mentality is present in literally everything. This pandemic. Us imperialism. Us social domestic policy. Most of evangelical Christianity practiced in the us. It is genuinely horrific. The amount of time a pedophile gets in jail versus a hacker. I heard a story that supposedly there was a hacker that hacked into numerous child porn sites and took them down just in his own free time. And he took down more in that free time than the government did in years. Not sure whether or not it's true. So I can't really verify it. But still would show something if it is. Abuse. It's way too overlooked and too many people are justifying it. How willingly we ignore history repeating itself in exchange for being right by being on the side we think is right. That poor people getting help paying for food is seen as a handout and that the real way to motivate them out of poverty is to take away all the resources that help them. You know. Cause buying a pair of pants 2 sizes too small always motivates people to lose weight. Right, I think this is ridiculous. Everyone is struggling in this life and some people just need more help than others. People don't seem to understand this concept and would spread unnecessary hate. Absolutely everything surrounding Jeffrey Epps. And us not making it a bigger issue than we should. I don't wanna say his full name because it's a possibility it might be removed. He is known as the one who didn't kill himself. Spikes under bridges so the homeless can't sleep there. Combined with homes becoming unaffordable. Literally got us on the fucking ropes. For me, It was when I was a kid. It wasn't all the bad shit happening but the response when I asked why shit kept happening. Just the way world is. It isn't fair. Suck it up. That's when I learned most people aren't inherently kind or intelligent. They are apathetic and dumb. The world could easily be better. People have decided it isn't worth it. People listening to celebrities give out healthcare advice instead of people who are trained and hold degrees in those areas. Management of COVID. Especially in first world Western countries. This pandemic exposes them a lot. The degree to which we brazenly destroy the environments of other living creatures for profit and comfort, even when we know it endangers our own future. People who are apologists for fuckers like Chris Brown. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you vapid troglodytes? Honestly, we work 40 week to get a shitty minimum wage while billionaires just get richer and richer. People die every day from hunger, lack of vaccination and the middle of a fucking pandemic. Human beings are literally living in the streets and if we complain about it some will say we are communists or whatever. People fear some imaginary monster while the true ones are out there destroying the world. People have no empathy. Some shit like this. The fact that a small number of people hold most of the money in our world, around 90% of the money. Our increasing appetite for consumption in a non-sustainable manner. How narcissism is the preferred personality trait. Here in the Netherlands people who receive welfare checks can't even get a few groceries from friends or family, because that's considered fraud and can get you in serious trouble. That America keeps electing the sort of people we keep electing. When a store lost power so it got rid of all the meat, threw it in a dumpster. But it was so cold out it kept the meat preserved and folks started grabbing the free, good, food. Subsequently, police were called to sit at the dumpster and not allow anyone to take the food, which was very much edible. In the US, people have to choose between dying and losing their life savings being in debt forever. Human trafficking pretty much says it all. The fact that people die every year, in one of the richest countries in the world, due to not being able to afford insulin, a material that costs only $2.03 to produce, yet sells for 100x that amount. Social media, of course. The news is given to us by corporations through talking heads who wear more makeup than Lady Gaga and think they're celebrities. There are these new Phyllis called zoophiles where people are not attracted to humans, only dogs or other animals. Bro, WTF happened to this world? Trisha Paytas and other influencers who legit contribute zero to society yet make tons of money with their lavish lifestyles. Half of her vlogs are her pretending to be something she's not. Other half is spending thousands of dollars and doing hauls and eating or talking shit about other people online. Yet she makes millions. WTF. Our society created weapons that would destroy planets. Those weapons are not pointing at any planet in particular. It's pointing at our own planet. Medical bankruptcy. Consuming other people's posts on Facebook as legitimate news and relevant information and repeating it and sharing it. Especially when they say I saw it on Facebook. Bet they can even quote the original source. The greed for money that overrides all the things we should be doing to better life for all humans and the earth itself. With no change in sight.